In the NBA, contracts are more than just numbers. They shape a franchise's future. A great deal can elevate a team overnight, but a bad one? It can lock a franchise in a losing cycle for years. In today's video, we're breaking down the worst contracts in the league right now. These are the deals that were supposed to bring championships, leadership, and consistency, but instead delivered injuries, regression, and dead weight. Some belong to aging stars past their prime. Others go to average players earning like superstars. Hit the like and subscribe for updates, and let's get into it. Starting with the Timberwolves and the most expensive rim protector in league history, Rudy Gobert, Minnesota Timberwolves. Before the boos in Minnesota, before the trade that made fans scratch their heads before the money started piling up, Rudy Gobert was a defensive force teams built around. Three-time Defensive Player of the Year, elite rim protector, a legit anchor. But the modern NBA shifted and Gobert didn't. The Timberwolves still went all in. 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, 5 players, and $205 million over 5 years. In return, a big man averaging 12 points and fewer assists than turnovers. He protects the rim, sure, but in a league built around space and pace, perimeter defenders matter more. Gobert can't stretch the floor, can't create, and slows down the offense. Minnesota doubled down in 2025 with another $110 million extension. And now, with Towns gone to make room, they're stuck with a system built around a player the game outgrew. Next, let's talk about the superstar who never suits up, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi has one of the most frustrating resumes in the NBA. When he's healthy, he's still elite, but the when part is the issue. Since joining the Clippers, he's been available for only 56% of the games. That's barely over half. And in the playoffs, he's healthy maybe once every 5 years. Kawhi made $49 million in 2025, and he's set to earn another $100 million over the next 2 seasons. But when you calculate it, he's made $730,000 per game played for the Clippers. That's like a part-time player on a max contract. Sure, you can say load management all you want, but at some point, you need your best player to actually be on the court. And with no guaranteed availability, Kawhi's contract feels more like a gamble than a smart investment. Speaking of injuries and big money, Damian Lillard is next. Dame is still a scoring threat, putting up 25 points and 7 assists on good efficiency. But the Bucks were barely average with him. And now, he's out for the entire 2026 season with a torn Achilles. He'll make $58 million while recovering, and you can bet he'll pick up that $63 million player option in 2027. At 35, Lillard is heading into the dreaded post-Achilles phase, and players rarely bounce back from that. With Milwaukee likely heading into a rebuild, possibly even trading Giannis, Dame's massive contract looks more like a burden than a benefit. That backcourt dream is over, and now the Bucks are trapped in a very expensive mess. And from overpriced stars, we move to overpaid ghosts. Next on the list is Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams had all the potential, size, athleticism, a smooth jumper, but never put it together. In his 5th year, he's still averaging the same as his rookie season. Barely over 10 points, under 4 rebounds, and no real impact. In 2025, his shooting efficiency dropped to 39% overall and 35% from deep, and he drifted through games like a spectator. No defense, no rebounding, no energy, just going through the motions. Yet Chicago handed him $90 million over 5 years. And for what? A guy who camps in the corner and watches the game like a fan in the front row? It's not just a bad contract, it's a complete misread of what this player is. And if you think that's rough, wait until you hear what New Orleans did with DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray was once an all-star and steals champion, but his value has plummeted. After signing a 4-year, $114 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks, he was traded to New Orleans. What did they give up? Dyson Daniels, a defensive stud who led the league with 3 steals per game and 2 first-round picks. What did they get back? A guy who shot 39% from the field and 30% from 3 before tearing his Achilles. Now, Murray is out for the foreseeable future with $95 million left on his contract. The Pelicans traded away a better, younger player and future assets for an inefficient, injured guard. This one's going to sting for a long time. Now let's head to Miami, where Scary Terry turned into Scared Silent. Terry Rozier seemed like a bargain when he was putting up 20 points and 5 assists in Charlotte. Then he got to Miami and forgot how to shoot. In 2025, he averaged just 10.6 points on an ugly 39% field goal and 29% from deep. And he was so bad, coach Eric Spoelstra didn't even play him in the playoffs. Yet he still made $25 million this year and has $26 million left. That's $2.5 million per point if you're feeling petty. Sure, Miami only gave up Kyle Lowry's expiring deal and a first-rounder, but even that seems like too much. Scary Terry's transformation into Invisible Terry has been one of the fastest falls we've seen. But if you think that's painful, check out what Portland's paying Jerami Grant. Once a reliable two-way forward, Jerami Grant has completely lost his edge. In 2025, he averaged just 14 points on 37% shooting, a far cry from his usual 20-plus PPG and over 50% EFG. Yet Portland locked him into a 5-year, $160 million deal anyway. Jerami Grant's contract is basketball quicksand. At 31, he's stuck on a rebuilding Blazers team through 2029, earning $32 million annually to put up empty stats. That's $128 million more for a player whose defense has slipped and whose offense can't carry a team. Portland would need to attach multiple first-rounders just to move him. A brutal tax for a front office that already misread their timeline. This isn't just sunk cost. It's an active obstacle to developing their young core. And his frontcourt partner? Let's talk about DeAndre Ayton. Ayton should have been a franchise cornerstone. Instead, he's the NBA's $133 million question mark. In 2025, he gave Portland 14 points per game, no defense, and 0 presence. Rookie Donovan Clingan outplayed him. For a fraction of the price, the Blazers now owe Ayton $36 million in 2026, and that'll be it. Unless they move him before then, which seems unlikely unless they throw in picks or take on more bad money. Ayton peaked during the 2021 finals run, but since then, he's regressed hard. He calls himself Dominatin', but right now he's just decent at best. And if you thought that was risky, wait until you hear about Toronto's twin mistakes. Toronto doubled down on mediocrity. First, they handed Emmanuel Quickley a 5-year, $175 million deal. For a guy who barely started in New York and hasn't proven he can run an NBA offense. His scoring bump has come with worse shooting efficiency, and he's still more spark plug than floor general. Then they gave Brandon Ingram $120 million over 3 years before he played a game for them. Ingram's counting stats, 23, 5, 5, it looked nice, but they've never translated to wins. He's injury-prone, passive, and too often disappears when it matters. Between Quickley and Ingram, the Raptors are locked into over $50 million per year for 2 players who don't move the needle. Finally, let's talk about Jamal Murray, the king of almost elite. Jamal Murray's raw numbers, 21 points, 6 assists, 47 and 39 splits, look great. And he just helped Denver win the title. But the concern is durability. In the last 5 years, he's missed huge chunks of seasons, including the entire 2022 campaign with an ACL tear. And starting next season, peaking at $62 million in 2029. That's max money for a guy who's never been an all-star and averages just over 17 PPG in the regular season. If he can stay healthy, great. But that's a massive if. Denver could be stuck overpaying for a player who just can't stay on the floor. And that's what makes Murray's contract such a massive gamble, just like the 9 before him. Bad contracts are part of the NBA game. Every team has one eventually, but the ones we just covered, they're different. They're not just bad deals, they're full-blown franchise setbacks. From aging stars who can't stay healthy to young players cashing in before proving anything, these contracts stretch payrolls, limit trades, and shatter team ceilings. And in a league where flexibility is everything, that's lethal. The question now is, how long before these teams admit the mistake and try to clean up the mess? Which contract do you think is the worst in the NBA today? Drop your take in the comments. And if you love smart NBA analysis, make sure to like and subscribe for more.